Did you grow up being told all the time to be nice? It's definitely a Southern thing. I don't know about the rest of the world. And it's definitely a little girl thing to be nice. And I think about even when raising my children that I would try to tell my children to be nice even when another child was being mean to them. And we are told to be nice even when other people are being mean to us. Since my daughter died, it has become much harder for me to be nice, to grasp that concept of how I'm supposed to take other people's good intentions, regardless of their effect, and just be nice. And then I read something that made me realize that being nice is actually the wrong thing. There's something else we should do instead. So, stop being so nice and let's talk about what to do instead. If you're new here, my name is Molly. I am a health coach who became a life coach and a grief mentor after my daughter died. I shifted my focus to helping thousands of women learn to take care of themselves through grief. And I make these videos so that I can help you focus on your healing in your grief, as well as help others understand that grieving people are not crazy and things that they do to support us may not be as helpful as they think they are. So we can educate them on how to help us, and so we can educate each other on how to work on our healing. That was a lot. So instead of being nice, we should strive to be kind. What is the difference? What's the difference between being nice and being kind? And how does it relate to grief? 500 years ago, the word nice meant foolish or stupid. These days, nice is used to mean that we're pleasant and agreeable. We're polite. Those don't sound like harmful things. They sound like good things. It sounds like the way you want to be. So when I think about my own experience as someone who has a dead child, I think about how it's so frustrating to be told that I'm supposed to be nice when people are being rude to me. I'm supposed to be nice when people are lashing out at me, and I'm not allowed to lash back out at them because then I'm the bad guy. When people are giving you terrible advice, you're not supposed to say anything to make them feel bad about their advice. When people say the terrible things they say, the ignorant and careless and thoughtless things that they say, and you're supposed to be nice. You're supposed to bite your tongue and just let it go. How is that helpful? I mean, don't come at me with pitchforks, because I'm not saying that we have the right to go around bashing people upside the head with our grief and using that as a weapon against people, regardless of their intentions. What I'm saying is it is not helpful when people are continuing to go about throwing these careless and thoughtless phrases and things to other people, to everyone that they meet who is grieving. We are letting them walk away thinking that they did a good thing, instead of educating them. Now, I don't always have the energy to have a conversation. Very often, my tongue is bloody from biting it, because that is the only thing I can do to preserve my own sanity in the moment. You feel me? But I would like to arm myself with some ways that I can respond to people. So I'm not being nice, I'm not letting people take advantage of me, and I'm not letting them get away with how they treat me. However, I want to be kind. I have a people pleaser tendency. I always have. It's a long story of all the issues of my childhood that have culminated into who I am today. That being said, whenever my daughter died, so much of that has just been ripped away. The rawness that I feel constantly has ripped away so much of my ability to be patient and compassionate with people who are choosing to be rude or choosing to be ignorant. I just don't have it in me anymore. But that doesn't change who I am at a core level of someone who is compassionate and does care about others. So, When I read this thing that I read about stop being so nice, to be kind instead, it got my attention, and I really wanted to look into this further and figure out how I can apply this to my own experiences. Is there a way that I can keep in mind some ways that I can be kind, which will be a much more helpful thing and also not leave me feeling terrible? Because if you're anything like me as a people pleaser, when you do lash out at someone, you feel terrible, and it keeps you up at night, and you think about it for 100 years. So, definitions of the word kind: having or showing a friendly, generous, and considerate nature, affectionate, and loving. Those sound so much better than nice because it sounds genuine. So, with that in mind, here are some ways to be more kind. When you are about to respond to something someone says to you, pause and consider your intentions. Is this an opportunity for you to educate them? Is this an opportunity for you to treat them the way that you want to be treated? Or are you tempted to give them a good tongue lashing right now, even though you know it won't help them to change their behavior? So, thinking about your intentions before you speak is a way to be kind. When we are kind, we are helping to set an example. Like I said, treating others the way that we want to be treated, we're setting that example of how we want to be treated by treating others that way. We have the opportunity to be a role model, for how to treat people who are grieving, as well as just how to treat people in general. Another way to be kind is when we genuinely care about other people, and with the exception, I guess, of strangers who might say something that, sets you off. Your friends and your family are people that you genuinely care about. And when you think about if they were in your position, how you would want to treat them, and how you would want them to feel loved and supported, that helps to shift your intentions to help them understand that perhaps what they said to you didn't feel good. And rather than just taking it, you're gently educating them. When we are being a people pleaser and we're being nice and we are not wanting to rock the boat, how is that helpful? So we do need to be kind to ourselves first, right? One of the first things we need to do for survival in grief is to be kind to ourselves and to not put everyone else first for a while and try to prevent burnout. And another thing, being kind doesn't mean that, say you are turning down a job that somebody wanted you to do, a responsibility someone wanted you to take, and you feel compelled to explain. You don't always have to explain. You can just say, no thank you, that won't fit in my schedule right now. When we begin practicing the habit of kindness, and it does take practice, and it is a habit that we have to build, it does take time and focus to think about, especially if you know you're about to interact with someone who normally gets on your nerves, to plan ahead and to focus on being kind and compassionate towards others. Another thing, something that's really hard when it comes to developing kindness, especially when you are grieving and you have been dealing with these things that people say and the way that people treat you and how shocking it is that you are not getting the support you thought you were going to get, or that the people that were supporting you have since moved on, is to check your own judgment of others and to stop and realize these are other humans, these are other souls. The things that I'm experiencing could happen to them in a second, and then would I be compassionate towards them? Then would I be kind towards them? So the biggest thing for me about trying to be more kind is learning to recognize when a situation or conversation deserves my input or not, and to pause and give myself time to reflect before speaking. This will keep me from saying something that I might regret. This will also keep me from committing to something I'm really not comfortable with. And it also helps me to not feel guilty or bad about interactions with other people or my part in interactions with other people if I know that I am leading with kindness instead of just being nice. When we realize that other people are coming at any situation from their own personal experience, they don't know what they don't know, right? We can be more compassionate and we can take a step back and realize that things that people say to us or things that they expect of us, they're not coming from a place of looking at you and even thinking about the fact that you are grieving or that you are not capable of the things that you were capable of before. They are just asking you because they're asking you, or they're just giving you advice because they just are. It's they're coming from their experiences, and it is super frustrating, and it can wear you down. And that's why I try not to leave my house much or interact with very many people. And I'm only half joking, because that really does help for me to be more kind, is to just avoid the people that drive me crazy. I'm not sure if I've actually come to any conclusion in this video, but I think this might be just an episode of Rambling Thoughts with Molly, where she rambles about what's in her head. Maybe any of this made sense. I don't know. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you got anything helpful out of this video, and if listening to the ramblings of my brain is something that you want to hear in the future. For now, I'm tired of hearing myself talk. So until next time, bye y'all. Let's Google nice. What does nice really mean? Did I even introduce myself? What was I saying?